Poor sleep alone doesn't kill you. But what you do in the first 15 to 20 seconds after waking up just might. There is one specific morning habit that most Americans over 60 perform without a second thought every single day. And new cardiovascular research suggests it increases the risk of a fatal cardiac event by up to 40%. I am not talking about smoking. I am not talking about eating bacon for breakfast. I am talking about something you do before your feet even touch the floor. And the most dangerous part? Your regular doctor has probably never mentioned it to you during your rushed 15-minute annual checkup. Stay with me until the very end of this video because the number one protective habit I will reveal today is so simple, so completely free, that a major study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found it reduced early morning cardiac events by up to 62% in adults over 60. And yet, almost no one does it correctly, or at all. My name is Dr. Kendra Harris. I have spent over 20 years working as a cardiologist, watching hearts fail, and I have spent just as long watching the exact same preventable morning sequence repeat itself in patients who felt completely fine the night before. Today, that stops with you. Before I name the habit, you need to understand what is happening inside your biology the moment you begin to wake up. Because without this science, the danger makes absolutely no sense. While you sleep, your body runs in a kind of low-power mode. Your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure drops, and your nervous system goes blissfully quiet. It is the only genuine sustained rest your heart gets in a 24-hour period. But here is the hidden truth that most people never know. The moment your brain begins waking up, even before your eyes open, even before your alarm sounds, your body starts flooding your bloodstream with two powerful stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. They begin rising roughly 60 minutes before you are fully conscious. By the time you reach over to silence that alarm, those hormones are already surging. Those two hormones do three things to your heart almost simultaneously. Your heart rate jumps, your blood pressure rises, and your blood vessels constrict. All of it happens in a matter of seconds. When you were 35 years old, your cardiovascular system handled that surge without breaking a sweat. The vessel walls were elastic, and the system adapted instantly. But after 60, the picture is very different. The arteries are stiffer. The response is slower. And in many people who feel completely healthy, there is plaque silently built up inside those vessels. Plaque they do not even know is there. When that massive hormonal wave hits a vessel wall carrying vulnerable plaque, the sheer force can crack it. A cracked plaque triggers clotting. A clot in a coronary artery is a heart attack. A clot in a cerebral artery is a stroke. That is not a worst-case scenario. That is the biological mechanism. That is what I have seen on the operating table more times than I can count. This is exactly why studies published in the American Heart Journal show that heart attacks are 40% more likely to occur between 6:00 a.m. and 10:00 a.m. than at any other time of day. It is not random. It is biology. And what you do in the 15 to 20 seconds after your alarm goes off either helps your heart manage that surge or it tips it over the edge. I want to tell you about a patient of mine. I will call him Douglas. Douglas was 68 years old, a retired school principal, and a careful man. He was the kind of patient who took his blood pressure medication every morning without fail. He walked for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. He had his annual checkup like clockwork, and his last cardiogram was perfectly clean. His doctor told him he was in great shape for his age. One Tuesday morning, Douglas woke up, silenced his alarm, and did what he had done every single morning for 15 years. He sat up fast, swung his legs off the bed, and stood up immediately. He took exactly 3 steps toward his bathroom, and that was as far as he got. His wife found him on the floor. When I reviewed Douglas's case later, everything about his cardiovascular profile was consistent with a man managing his health responsibly. His medications were right. His diet was reasonable. But no one had ever told him about the 15 to 20 seconds. We will come back to Douglas because the recovery room conversation we had, the one change his previous cardiologist had never mentioned, is the reason I am making this video for you today. Here is the habit. The one specific thing that most people over 60 do every morning that silently loads the gun. They stand up immediately. That is it. The alarm goes off and they are vertical in under 3 seconds. It feels like nothing. It is completely ordinary. But for your heart, at that precise moment in the morning, it is one of the most dangerous things you can do. Let me explain the science. When you are lying flat in bed, your blood is distributed relatively evenly throughout your body. The moment you stand up, gravity pulls a massive volume of blood downward toward your legs and your abdomen. Your heart must respond instantly to maintain adequate blood pressure to the brain. In a younger person, that reflex is lightning fast. The vessels constrict, the heart rate adjusts, and pressure is maintained in seconds. But in adults over 60, that reflex slows down. The vessels do not respond as quickly, and blood pressure can drop 15, 20, sometimes 30 points within seconds of standing. Doctors call this orthostatic hypotension. You may know it as that gray, dizzy, foggy feeling when you first stand up in the morning. Many people over 60 experience it and assume it is just a normal part of aging. It is not normal. It is a blaring warning siren. Here is where this connects directly to that morning hormonal surge we just discussed. When your blood pressure drops suddenly after standing, your heart panics. It responds by compensating, spiking its rate and output aggressively to restore circulation. Imagine a vulnerable heart, already under extreme hormonal stress from the morning cortisol surge, already working against stiffer arteries. Now, add one more deadly factor: dehydration. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, you are dehydrated. Every single morning, without exception, you have not had a drop of water all night. You have been breathing steadily for hours, which loses moisture continuously. The result is that by the time your alarm goes off, your blood is measurably thicker and more viscous than it was when you fell asleep. Think of your heart as a pump and your blood vessels as pipes. When the fluid moving through those pipes is thin and free-flowing, the pump works easily. When the fluid thickens, the pump has to work harder with every single beat. And thicker blood does not just increase the workload, it clots more easily. Research confirms that clotting factors are at their absolute highest activity levels in the early morning hours. It is the hormonal surge, combined with thick blood, combined with stiff vessels, all arriving at the exact same moment. It is a triple threat for any heart over 60. And standing up immediately forces that stressed system to suddenly fight gravity. The fix for this is almost embarrassingly simple, but before I give you the exact 90-second protocol, I need to say this. If you have made it this far into the video, you are clearly invested in protecting your health. You want to see what happens next. But most viewers enjoy this deep educational content and then scroll away without subscribing. If this science actually means something to you, tap subscribe right now. It takes 1 second. If not, you will probably forget this channel exists, and you will miss a lot of life-saving, evidence-based medical content ahead. Now let me ask you a quick question. Do you drink water first thing in the morning, before coffee, before anything else? Write yes or no in the comments right now. I read every single one, and the pattern I see in those answers tells me exactly what information is actually reaching the people who need it most. Let me give you the complete morning protocol. Because once you understand the biological danger, the solution is beautifully straightforward. I call it the 90-second heart protocol. There is no equipment required, no cost, nothing to buy. Just a simple system that takes 90 seconds and protects your heart every single morning. Step 1. The 15-second breath intervention. The moment your alarm goes off, do not move. Stay exactly where you are. Take 3 slow, deep breaths before you do anything else. In through the nose, out through the mouth, fully and deliberately. This single action activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the calming branch of your biology, and begins to counteract the massive cortisol surge before it peaks. 3 breaths, 15 seconds. It is one of the most powerful cardiovascular protective tools that exists, and it is completely free. The research on slow, deliberate breathing immediately upon waking shows measurable reductions in morning blood pressure spikes in adults over 60. Step 2. The room temperature flush. Drink water before you stand. Keep a full glass of water on your nightstand tonight. Before your feet ever touch the floor, drink it. Room temperature. The whole glass. This is non-negotiable. You now understand the science why. You must thin the blood, reduce the clotting risk, and give the pump better fluid to work with before the physical demands of gravity begin. This is the exact habit that JAMA research found reduced early morning cardiac events by up to 62%. Step 3. The 30-second sit. Sit before you stand. Roll to your side, push yourself up slowly, and sit on the edge of the bed with your feet hanging. Do not rush. Rotate your ankles in slow circles, 5 times in each direction. This activates the muscle pump in your calves, which pushes pooled blood back up toward the heart and helps restore your blood pressure gradually. Sit there for a full 30 seconds before you stand. Then rise slowly, pressing through your legs. Stand still for 10 seconds before you take your first step. That is the complete protocol. 3 breaths, 1 glass of water. Sit before you stand. 90 seconds total, starting tomorrow morning. There is one additional thing I need you to know, especially if you are currently taking a diuretic, a water pill for blood pressure. Diuretics work by flushing excess fluid from the body through the kidneys. They are highly effective. But when the kidneys flush fluid, they also flush magnesium. Magnesium regulates the electrical signals that control your heartbeat. When magnesium levels drop quietly, the heart becomes electrically unstable. Palpitations, erratic rhythms, arrhythmias, and it tends to surface hardest in the morning, precisely when the heart is already under the greatest stress. If you are on a diuretic, ask your doctor at your next 15-minute appointment to check your magnesium level. A simple 2-minute blood test could save your life. I promised I would come back to Douglas. In the recovery room, after he had stabilized, I sat with him and his wife, and we talked about his morning routine. He described it exactly as I expected. Alarm, immediate movement, straight to vertical, straight to the bathroom, every morning for 15 years. Nobody had ever questioned it. His previous cardiologist had reviewed his medications, his diet, his exercise. Nobody had ever asked about those 15 to 20 seconds. We made one change before he went home. A glass of water on the nightstand. The 3-breath rule. Sitting on the edge of the bed before standing. 6 months later, he came back for his follow-up. His morning blood pressure readings, which his wife had been tracking diligently at home, had stabilized significantly. The dizziness he had always dismissed as normal aging was completely gone. Douglas looked at me in the corridor and asked, "Why didn't anyone tell me this sooner?" I didn't have a satisfying answer for him then, but I told him what I will tell you now. The information exists, the research exists, the habit itself costs nothing and takes 90 seconds. It simply needs to reach the people who need it, before the morning it matters most. You are that person, and you now have that information. Let's bring this all together. The morning is the most dangerous window of the day for your heart after 60. Cortisol and adrenaline surge before you are fully awake, driving up your heart rate, blood pressure, and vessel constriction simultaneously. Your blood is at its thickest. Your arteries are at their stiffest. And the habit of standing up immediately adds a sudden pressure drop that forces an already stressed heart to compensate aggressively. The fix is 3 steps. 1. 3 deep breaths before you move. 2. 1 glass of water before you stand. 3. Sit on the edge of the bed for 30 seconds before rising slowly. That is your 90-second heart protocol. Today, the ignorance stops with you. Here is what I am asking you to do today right now. Put a glass of water on your nightstand tonight. Just that one thing. The rest will follow. Which part of this science surprised you the most? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video gave you something you needed, share it. There is someone in your life, a spouse, a sibling, a friend, who wakes up every morning doing exactly what Douglas did. You may not know who it is yet, but sending them this video might be the thing that finds them before the morning it matters. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Every week, I bring you honest, research-grounded information about what your body actually needs after 60. This is the deep information I wish every patient had before they ever ended up on an operating table in front of me. Take care of your heart. It has been working for you every single minute of every single day without asking for anything in return. Give it 90 good seconds tomorrow morning. It is more than a fair trade.